Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson at City Hall this past week delivering his budget address and also formally announcing his re-election bid. The race taking place this April, the same day as Wisconsin's presidential primary.
The mayor has received national praise for helping secure the Republican National Convention, but also faces some critics at home. He joins us now. Mayor, welcome back to the show.
Thank you guys for having me.
It's a lot that's been going on over the past couple of weeks. I want to start with the Brewers and the funding plan, the city's obligations, $2.5 million according to this plan. That would be every year for the next 27 years. If this $2.5 million annual number is not appropriate, what is an appropriate number for the city to contribute?
Look, my desire is to keep the Brewers in Milwaukee. I think everybody on a bipartisan basis wants to keep the Brewers playing in Milwaukee, playing in Wisconsin for the foreseeable future, for the next generation. And I understand the supremacy of state law over local law, and so there will be a contribution. Everybody in Madison seems to want to get this done. My issue is that with the plan that's been put forward presently, it strips away Milwaukee's power to have representation on the Stadium District Board, while also taxing us at the same time. That is textbook taxation without representation. That ought to change.
Let's break a couple of those down. You acknowledge, though, the city, though, should have some type of local buy-in in this package?
I'm saying the city doesn't have a choice as it relates to local contribution. I would prefer that number to be zero. That is unlikely. And so I would prefer now that that number be as low as it possibly can be, because with Act 12 and the additional revenue that we received, there are stipulations. We do have requirements that we have to meet with the bill, including doing things that I want to do as mayor in terms of increasing the numbers of police officers on the street as well as firefighters on the job.
The Fiscal Bureau, though, projects by 2050, $7.5 million coming to the city in sales tax revenue. Shouldn't the city have to chip in a little bit in terms of maintaining and
well, look, I mean, 22% of Brewers attendees, according to a third-party study, attend Brewers games. That means the vast majority, the lion's share, come from elsewhere in the state and elsewhere in the country. So should the city kick in? Perhaps so, but I think other communities who once upon a time were on the hook to help support American Family Field are no longer on the hook with doing so either. So again, I would prefer our number to be closer to zero as possible, while also laying out what I think the Brewers should consider in the future, strongly consider in the future, and that's having development around American Family Field.
This back and forth has played out in recent days. Are you talking with the Brewers about this possibility? They seem really hesitant.
I haven't had a conversation with the Brewers. I would love to have conversations with the Brewers because, again, the city can be a partner in development here. But think about this. There's been discussions around development around American Family Field since its inception. The field, the baseball stadium, has been open since 2001. That's 4 U.S. presidencies, right? So they're pushing back on that. When is it going to happen? We should be talking about this right now and make sure that the Brewers have this on the front burner. Even if it doesn't happen in this particular deal, it needs to happen in the future. I don't want 20 more years to go by and have a surface level parking lot over at American Family Field.
In this plan, lawmakers don't need your approval or the approval of the council. You just admitted that the state doesn't have, or you don't have a say really in the local buy-in option. How far are you willing to take these objections to not only the dollar amount, but even what's with the back and forth with the stadium board?
Look, again, it's my desire to make sure that the Brewers stay in Milwaukee and continue to play baseball in Wisconsin long term. The Brewers are an incredible value added to Milwaukee, to our region, and to the state of Wisconsin. So I'm willing to have negotiations. I'm willing to have conversations with leaders at the state level in order to make sure that that comes to fruition.
Let's talk about your re-election. You just announced this past week, the race in April, same day as the presidential primary, 3 months away from the Republican National Convention being hosted here in Milwaukee. Some of your critics say you've appeased way too much and focused way too much on the suburbs and Republican leaders. What do you say to that?
I would fundamentally oppose that objection.
How so?
Well, look, in Milwaukee, we've had a ton of successes, right? Have I worked with leaders in Madison, Republican leaders in Madison? Yes. And we got tremendous success, work that mayors have been working to do for literally decades to get more revenue to Milwaukee. We got our first bump in state shared revenue in decades. So I am zeroed in and focused on the issues important to people right here in the city of Milwaukee, and will continue to do so as mayor.
If you win re-election, will you commit to serving the full term?
I will serve the full term. Yep, that's my desire, is to continue to serve as mayor.
Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson, a big week ahead, a big week behind us. Thank you so much for your time and perspective, like always.
Thank you.
Up next, Top Chef to the ballpark.